Every weekday, SEPTA carries over 500,000 passengers, commuters, students, families, and tourists, making it the heartbeat of Philadelphia. But behind the scenes, this vital system is teetering on the edge. A looming budget crisis threatens to derail operations, and the trains themselves are in deep trouble. What's really going on beneath the tracks? In today's episode of Great Trainspeed, we uncover the full scope of SEPTA's crisis and what it means for the future of transit in Philly. For most of Philadelphia's modern history, the Silverliner 4 has been more than just a train car. It's been a familiar hum beneath the city's skyline, steel on steel carrying students, office workers, and families from the suburbs into the heart of the region. When these cars debuted in the mid-1970s, they symbolized progress and the promise of a commuter network fit for a growing metropolis. 5 decades later, that symbol has taken on a different weight. In 2025, a string of onboard fires transformed the Silverliner 4 from a dependable workhorse into the center of a national safety debate. The incidents, 5 separate fires in less than a year, forced regulators, city leaders, and SEPTA itself to confront the risks of aging rolling stock in an era defined by tighter safety rules and higher passenger expectations. By September, what began as isolated mechanical failures had escalated into a system-wide reckoning. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, released a pointed report urging SEPTA to sideline its entire Silverliner 4 fleet, more than half of its regional rail rolling stock, until investigators could pinpoint the exact causes, fix them, and correct what the board described as organizational factors that have prevented effective risk mitigations. It was a stunning recommendation, one that instantly raised questions of safety, funding, and continuity of service across one of the nation's largest commuter networks, and we will find out more about it in the next part of the video. If you find this topic interesting, hit the subscribe button so you will not miss any updates about the world of trains on our channel.
Needs to make changes to keep commuters safe.
The NTSB's September 2025 report laid out the problem in stark terms. Out of SEPTA's 390 passenger-carrying vehicles, 225 are Silverliner 4. That's roughly 60% of the entire regional rail fleet. These cars date back to 1974 to 1976. Since then, cars have run day in and day out without a full modernization program. In short, they've aged in service. Some works were repainted, cleaned, and maintained, but never re-engineered for 21st century regulatory landscape. That's a problem because the Silverliner 4 predates today's federal fire safety standards. When the strict performance requirements for fire resistance, wiring insulation, and interior materials were adopted and amended in 2002, the Silverliner 4 never underwent the retrofit necessary to meet those benchmarks. Then came the fires. The first on February 6, 2025, was alarming but contained quickly. Investigators found that parts of the train's power system were getting too hot, with burned areas near electrical parts and melted wiring. Over the following months, 4 more incidents occurred on separate lines, each involving Silverliner 4 units. Minor injuries have been caused, but together they painted a consistent picture. Electrical systems past their intended service life were becoming ignition sources under everyday operating conditions. The NTSB's conclusion was firm. Continuing to run the fleet without comprehensive remediation would invite further risk. The board urged SEPTA to suspend operations of all 225 Silverliner 4 cars until root causes were verified, fixes were applied, and oversight processes improved. The recommendation also suggested new funding to either replace the train cars or upgrade them with modern systems that can detect and respond to overheating. It also called for ongoing monitoring to make sure temporary safety fixes are working, and to take the trains out of service again if fires happen again. For a region that depends on regional rail to link suburban economies with Philadelphia's job centers, the implications were massive. Taking the cars out of service would effectively cut the system's capacity in half. SEPTA's leadership wasn't ready to do that. General Manager Scott Sauer pushed back, explaining that the agency had already introduced about 40 mitigation measures since the first: fire, enhanced electrical inspections, infrared scanning during maintenance, targeted part replacements, and stricter record keeping. "We've tightened procedures, which is why incidents have been less frequent," Sauer said. He emphasized that the Federal Railroad Administration, the nation's rail safety regulator, had not ordered a suspension. Instead, FRA had advised SEPTA to continue mitigation and document progress. But the debate was far from over. As public pressure mounted, the U.S. Department of Transportation stepped in. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced that the FRA had issued an emergency order compelling SEPTA to take immediate, sweeping action. SEPTA has 30 days to complete safety upgrades to its Silverliner 4 trains, including thorough inspections, thermal protection systems, updated technical documents, improved staff training, analysis of past fires, and full compliance with its maintenance plan and maintenance protocols with the revised plan approved by the FRA. To make matters worse, SEPTA General Manager recently made a sad announcement that SEPTA could miss the deadline. During a City Council hearing on September 16th, GM Scott Sauer stated that the agency might request an extension. He mentioned that inspections had been finished on 52 out of 225 vehicles, and that efforts were being ramped up to finish the task by the end of the month. However, he also noted full service might not resume until the end of the year. The emergency order effectively transformed SEPTA's maintenance program overnight. What had been an internal checklist became a federally mandated campaign, complete with documentation, audits, and follow-up reviews. Federal engineers and safety experts were deployed to SEPTA's train yards, shops, and dispatch centers to verify implementation firsthand.
For federally mandated inspections.
The federal crackdown drew immediate responses from city leaders. Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker called the NTSB's recommendations very disturbing and all too predictable. For months, she had warned that diverting capital funds to cover operating costs could weaken SEPTA's long-term resilience. And what about the mood of the riders? Frustration boiling over, anxiety about safety, and a growing conviction that the clock has run out on the Silverliner 4. Riders keep pointing to this year's string of fires, 5 fires in 1 year, and asking the obvious, if a fatality would force an immediate pull, why wait for that worst-case scenario? There's also hard-nosed skepticism about timelines. The idea that it could take 6 to 10 years to replace the fleets reads as fantasy to some. They expect 20 years, by which time, as one person put it, the next generation would already be aging out. Mixed into the outrage is genuine confusion about operations. If more than half the fleet is sidelined, how is SEPTA supposed to provide service? That question reflects the everyday fear, missed work, missed school, missed connections, if schedules crater. What about you? What's your take on this issue? Do you think it's finally time for SEPTA to upgrade its aging infrastructure? Or can the current system still hold on a bit longer? Drop 1 if you think change is overdue, or 0 if you believe it's still fine for now. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. While the FRA order addressed the immediate emergency, a bigger question looms: what to do with SEPTA's 225 Silverliner 4? General Manager Sauer has acknowledged the reality. Full replacement could take 6 to 10 years and require significant borrowing. Procurement for new EMU is slow, yet without a formal program, SEPTA stays stuck in reactive maintenance and public scrutiny. This isn't just a Philadelphia problem. Across the U.S., commuter railroads still rely on fleets delivered before 2000. Agencies like NJ Transit, Metra, and LIRR face the same bind: keep day-to-day reliability afloat while financing long-term renewal. The Silverliner 4 crisis shows how maintenance gaps become governance failures. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in today, everyone. See you next time.